Thank you. Perfect. Welcome. Say hello in the chat. Where are you calling in from today? The registrations for this event are literally from around the world. There's something like 19 countries being represented. And how cool is that? As it turns out, wanting to live from our divine design, wanting to live from our authenticity is something that unifies all of us, no matter where we're coming from. So, yes, hello, Deborah, calling in from the UK. We've got Laura from Cape Town, South Africa. Janine, hello from Canada. Beirut, hello. Mexico, Sasha, hello. Wanda, hello. So good to see you guys. Oh my gosh, you guys, I emailed you this morning with the last minute, we're starting in an hour, telling you I am as excited as a child on Christmas morning. And I think I've only gotten more excited as we've drawn closer to the time. So we are going to hello, Lisa, hello, Lainey. Oh, guys, it's so good to see you. Um, we are going to dive in and kind of get settled in here together and start with a little bit of a dance party. Okay, so I'm going to play a song and we're going to move our bodies. And if you can do that and stay on video, fantastic. If you want to turn your video off to like really let loose, I'm cool with that too. It won't be on the recording. The recording will just be me. So you're just dancing for the benefit of everyone that's here. My dancing will be on the recording. Looking forward to that, by the way. But we're going to start with just, yeah, settling into our seats and arriving in this moment. So whether you want to dance or just let the music wash over you, by all means, do whatever works best for you. So without further ado, this song is called Broken Arrows by Avicii. Oh, and we're off.
You stripped your love down to the wire, fire shining cold alone outside. You stripped it right down to the wire, but I see you behind those tired eyes. Now as you wade through the shadows that live in your heart, you'll find the light that leads home. 'Cause I see you for you and your beautiful scars. Take my hand, don't let go. 'Cause it's not too late, it's not too late. I see the hope in your heart. And sometimes you lose and sometimes you're shooting broken arrows in the dark. But I see the hope in your heart. I've seen the darkness in the light, the kind of blue that leaves you lost and blind. The only thing that's black and white is that you don't have to walk alone this time. You have to tear down the walls that live in your heart to find someone you call home. Now you see me for me and my beautiful scars. Take my hand, don't let go. 'Cause it's not too late, it's not too late. I see the hope in your heart. And sometimes you lose and sometimes you're shooting broken arrows in the dark. But I see the hope in your heart.
You guys, that was so much exactly what I needed this morning, especially with all the excess energy and all the excitement of being with you guys. Oh, thank you to those of you that danced with me. I see you. I heard a quote recently that says, like, dancing like no one is watching is like the surefire sign of those who are comfortable in their own skin. And it pushes every one of my edges to do it, but in a good way. So thank you so much for being with me this morning. It's so, so awesome to finally be here. I put this offer out there like 5 or 6 weeks ago and had people signing up over these last few weeks, including some last minutes, like within the last 12 hours. And I have no doubt that the group that's assembled here today are the ones who need to hear whatever it is that's going to come through for us all. So, without further ado, I want to talk just a little bit about what even is this retreat? What are we doing here? What are we hoping to gain out of this? And I think when I use the words divine design, I'm really talking about authenticity. I'm really talking about your real self, like your true nature, the you that you were before they gave you a name, the you that you still are underneath the layers of who you were taught you're supposed to be, who you were conditioned and socialized to believe is the acceptable version of yourself. And so, why? Why are we talking about that? Why do we care about living as our authentic self? And for me, I know that before my journey of authenticity, I felt very invisible in my life. And that invisibility was also making me quite miserable emotionally. Depression was the height of it. And in the worst times for like 15 years, deep, dark depression, and often not wanting to be here, not wanting to even continue to have a life, not caring to keep it, not seeing the point. So it can get really dark when we stray too far from our authentic self. So, anybody who might be tuning in from a place that's in that ballpark, please know that that's a sign that we have veered off course of who we really are and the activities that are in alignment with our divine design, our real self. And as I have approached my authenticity, right, one little baby step at a time, um, that has all but eradicated the depression. It's been years since I would say, right? It's been years since I would say I struggle with depression. However, there's plenty of other mood monsters, as Martha Beck would call them, that can keep us company. Like my anxiety still is around, and still I go through emotional ups and downs. Like I don't know that there's necessarily a way around that. But how do you feel in those ups and downs? Do we beat up on ourselves? Do we feel like I'm not doing it right? I'm getting it wrong when I don't feel good. And that's the part that even in my most anxious moments, even in my downs, I no longer beat up on myself. I trust that that's part of the process. So all of that I credit to moving more and more and more into alignment with my divine design, with my radical authenticity. And throughout these 5 days, my goal is to give out little pieces, little exercises, little doses of how do we feel our way into that? Because it isn't something, from my experience, it isn't necessarily something that we're going to take a quantum leap and be all the way there. It's a lot like lifting weights, right? Training our muscles. When we start off and we've got a 100-pound dumbbell, we can't even budget off the floor. That's okay. That doesn't mean that we're broken or not strong or not going to get strong, right? Same with authenticity. If we try to be our real self and it feels challenging, that just means your muscles haven't quite grown into that size yet. And so the goal of these 5 days would be to do some weightlifting exercises, right? To kind of start to tune in to what does feel in alignment with you. And I am going to do my best. I am pouring my heart and soul into the best of what I've learned along this path. And I'll be recommending lots of songs, lots of different, we'll do little meditations here and there. Books that have helped me. I already mentioned Martha Beck. The Way of Integrity was a life-changing book for me. And one of the pieces that I want to start off with is basically to let you know that everything that you need to find your way into alignment with your authentic self, you have inside of you. So in this space, I don't expect to be providing you with your answers, rather opening up a container where you can really feel into yourself, into your alignment, into your inner teacher, as Martha Beck calls it, in The Way of Integrity. And right off the bat, I want to take us into a short guided meditation to where we can start to feel our way there. So I am going to turn on a bit of background music, turn the sound down just a little bit because I am going to talk over the top of this. So if you'd like to close your eyes and really, I'm going to close my eyes. You don't have to close your eyes. You can if you want to. But to really arrive in this moment, to meet yourself at your own front door. And we'll start with just a few deep breaths. Nothing fancy, just fill your lungs up. And one more. Now let's do a couple more deep breaths, but this time we're going to exhale for longer than we inhale. So let's inhale for 3 and exhale for 5. And the reason for that is this is a trick for your nervous system. When your exhales are longer than your inhale, your body begins to know that it's safe. So we'll inhale for 3, exhale for 5. Again, inhale for 3, exhale for 5. And as we go through the rest of this meditation, just breathe normally. We can focus on our breath. If our thoughts wander, like they always will, that's no problem. Our thoughts continue to wander just like our heart continues to beat. The goal of this meditation is not to stop thought. It's simply to be with ourselves, the same as we would a friend that we love dearly. Listen to them, we look at them, put our arm around them. You can even picture that you're sitting with yourself like a friend on a park bench in a beautiful area, perhaps next to a little stream since we have the water music going. And we just be with ourselves for this moment. We trust that we carved out this time for ourselves. There's nowhere else we need to be right now. There's nothing else we need to be doing. All is well, simply by breathing and existing. Take another big, deep breath. Start to feel into the center of your being. Bring your awareness into your chest area, your heart space. and feel if it's tight, if there's any tension that you can relax with your awareness. Take another big deep breath and picture it filling up the center of your being, the center of your heart space. From this place of your open heart, tell yourself, I want you to feel safe. I want you to feel loved. I want you to feel at peace. And just be with any sensations that might be coming up. It's okay if there's a story around it that wants to be heard, but we don't have to make a story. We can just be with whatever sensation is there. Take another moment and feel for any tension that might have crept back into your shoulders, in your jaw. Let your tongue off the roof of your mouth. Relax any tension that you can find in your body simply by pointing your awareness towards it. Space of open, relaxed peace, invite in your higher self, your inner wisdom, your inner teacher, the part of you that knows, the part of you that already has all the answers to every question you could ever ask. And ask that higher self part of you, what would you like me to know right now? It's okay if it comes through in words. It's okay if they show you a picture or a memory. It's okay if it's a vision. It's okay if it's nothing at all. Just listen for a moment. What would you like me to know right now? Allow these next few phrases to wash over you and melt any remaining tension that you're holding in your body. You're already right where you meant to be. You can't get it wrong. You're doing better than you think you are. You add value simply by breathing and existing. read you the first few lines of a beautiful poem by Mary Oliver called Wild Geese. You may have heard it before. We can't have these reminders too often. Her poem starts off, "You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Take one more big deep breath. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Maybe move your shoulders from side to side. Start to wake back up your body. And when you're ready, open your eyes. So I'm going to leave the music playing for just another moment or two. And I'd like you to take these quick couple of minutes to grab your journal and or type it in the chat if you don't have your journal handy, or if you'd rather share with the group. How are you feeling now? What was it that your higher self wanted you to know? Anything that feels good to let soak into your system. Let it wash through you. Whether it's things that you've heard a million times and it feels good to be reminded, or there was something brand new, or it just felt good to be with yourself and breathe for a moment. There is no right way, so you can't get it wrong. What was there for you? Once you've had a moment in your journal, type a word or two in the chat. What was there for you? Oh, Sasha, I'm the creator of my life. The power of your words are your manifestation. You are so powerful. We all are. You can't get it wrong. I accept I am okay. Tenderness, safe to live a larger life. Your higher self is on your side, already cheering for you, already believing in you, so certain of your capabilities to do exactly what feels good to your soft animal body. Can't get it wrong. It's not possible. It doesn't exist. You are enough just as you are. Absolutely. So I'm going to stop the music. Do feel free to jot down any remaining ideas that feel good that maybe you'd like to come back to or remind yourself of later. This is a space for you. This is a space for you to hear from your inner wisdom. I deserve to come out of the cave into the sunshine of life. Oh, that brings a smile to my face, Lisa. Thank you for sharing it. Oh, it feels good to me, and I hope for you too, to really just slow down into everything is already okay, right? We get so caught up in trying to make it okay that it can feel like literally the weight of the world dissolves off of our shoulders when we allow ourselves to know that we're actually already right where we meant to be. Everything is working out. We can, in our mind, perceive that there are delays or detours or mistakes or missteps. And yesterday morning, did a very similar meditation where my higher self came through and told me, you cannot get it wrong. And I felt my entire body just open up to the pure potential of whatever wants to come through our life is in service of the highest good of the all. And possibly this is a place to open up into, the what keeps us from living as our authentic self, right? What is it that stops that from being our normal default mode, right? We're not trying to stay out of our authenticity. We're typically coming from a place of self-protection. We're coming from a place that we've been taught that it's not safe to be seen, it's not safe to be heard, it's not safe to be authentic in whatever way that shows up for us. Like, there's nothing wrong with you if you feel like it's difficult to be our authentic self. When it comes to our true nature, is another way I would say our authentic self. A lot of times when children are raised, they're trained to ignore their true nature and instead be a good girl or a good boy. We're trained to behave. We're trained on what the rules are, what's acceptable behavior, and what's going to get your hand slapped, your butt beat, you're locked in your room without supper. I mean, there are so many tools for repressing our authenticity that our parents used with us that I'm going to just give every single parent the benefit of the doubt that says they did their best. They did what they thought was best. They offered their best wisdom that they had available at the time. And all of that gets wrapped into something that we call conditioning. So, our social conditioning is what taught us what is safe behavior to exhibit in this world. And so when we start walking back into alignment with our authenticity, with our divine design, with our true nature, whatever you want to call it, whatever resonates most with your body, the soft animal of your body, that's what we're up against, is every layer of conditioning that has been put on us. And so as we think about moving more into our authenticity, there's a quote that I absolutely love that says, we manifest at the speed of safety. So in order to line up with who we really are, we first have to feel safe. And sometimes we have to feel, well, probably always, we have to feel safe to even see and know what's authentic for us. Like, a lot of times when we're very first starting out, it's like, I don't even know what's authentic, right? We're so caught in our programming, and working our way out of that labyrinth is a matter of finding places, spaces, and people that feel safe to us. And that's something that our body knows. That's something that our inner teacher can agree or disagree that this place feels safe to open up a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, or this place, this space, this person is making me constrict. It's making me pull back into the cave. It's making me pull back into my shell and hide and turn invisible. Our body will know naturally where we are safe and where we are not. And that mechanism, that piece of our inner wisdom of our body knowing where it's safe to open up, that's something that is worth tuning into. It's something that's worth trusting. If you don't feel safe to open, then don't open, right? If it doesn't feel safe to step out, then don't step out. Your body will take care of you. Your body will tell you where it's safe. And if it's your intention to live in more alignment with your authenticity, with your divine design, with your true nature, It's also worth investing in spending time with people in spaces that do feel safe to you. We manifest at the speed of safety. If we don't feel like it's safe, our subconscious mind will push it away on our behalf. So when we think about the conscious mind and the conscious mind, like they say, we use like 2% of our brains or 5% of our brains or whatever the number is. That's the conscious part of our mind. So we can say with our 5% conscious mind, I want XYZ. And then in our subconscious mind, 95% of our brain, if we don't think it's safe, if we don't believe that that's going to be okay for us, we will subconsciously be pushing it away. We'll do things that self-sabotage. We'll we'll turn avoidant and walk away from it, even though with everything in our conscious mind, we're like, no, I want that. I want to live that life. If you don't believe it's safe, that's going to be pretty difficult to overcome the bigger, more powerful part of our brain, that subconscious part. So investing in even becoming a safe place for yourself, right? Like coming home to yourself and soothing the inner critic, soothing the inner protector, that part of you wants to keep you safe and most likely will need to be heard and validated, right? We can't just kick fear out of the car. Fear is our protector. Fear is keeping us safe and alive. And we add our value by existing and breathing. So staying alive is important. And it's okay to have those thoughts of our inner critic, our inner protector, and it's okay to put that part of ourselves in the back seat so their hands are no longer the ones on the steering wheel. And that is the process of baby step by baby step becoming a safe place for ourselves. I want to open it up now. We have about 25 minutes left of today's session. And at each one of these sessions, we'll have one hot seat, meaning one person wanting to come forward and have about a 10 to 12-minute conversation about whatever it is that we've covered. Is there someone who would like to volunteer to either ask a question around this topic or offer their own experience to the group? Really, whatever feels good to share. I would like to open it up now to see who would like to volunteer for that spot. And if you would, just raise your hand on the camera because I'll have to invite you to unmute yourself. Wanda, yes, please. Go, Wanda. Go, Wanda. There we go.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Can
there you are.
you hear me good?
I can hear
Can you
you.
hear me good?
Yes.
Okay, because I didn't have my microphone hooked up. Oh, I guess I'll go first in Aries style.
Perfect. Way to be the tip of the spear.
Um, yeah. Oh, Sun Mars conjunction in Aries. So,
Mm.
oh, um, the safety part is something I've been struggling with. Um, Probably if I'm honest with myself, probably all of my life, but it's really been coming up uh, very strongly in the last few years. I'm in the last year of my um, before my second Saturn return will be next year at this time. So a lot of stuff is coming up, and I'm really struggling with the feeling of, like I said, feeling safe and belonging, you know. Um, and I don't know. I'm some days I'm okay, and then other days it's like, whew, a lot of waking up crying,
Mm.
when you. So I don't know. I guess I need maybe some advice from others as far as dealing with that. It has helped, I guess, with age, uh, in doing a lot of things, trying a lot of things. So that kind of puts that confidence level there that I can kind of fall back on.
Sure.
Um, but it's still a struggle.
Type a one in the chat if you resonate with what Wanda is saying. It's so often, right, we're only going to hear from Wanda. Wanda and I are going to have a conversation back and forth. But I'll bet everybody on this call can relate to what you're saying in some form or fashion. And hopefully, what I'm able to offer or ask or whatever will be of value to everyone. Um, so, the first thing that I want to say about like the waking up crying, um, you know, I think we think let me talk for my first person. I thought that when I felt safe, that would feel like inner peace. It would feel like I'm okay. I'm good. And becoming a safe place for myself, one of the first things that had to happen was every repressed emotion that I had ever had now needed to come up and be felt. And
Mm,
so I think, right off the bat, it can be a little counterintuitive. Like when you become a safe place for yourself, there's a lot of feelings that need to be heard and seen. Our inner child has been hurting and aching for years, like you said, maybe our whole life. And when we finally become a safe place for ourselves, our inner child comes forward with like mountains worth of like, can I show you this old boo boo? Can I show you this thing that was devastating that like we never took the time to process and heal? And I still have those days where it's like all I can do is just cry and cry and cry and cry and cry. And I think being a safe place for ourselves literally means not forcing ourselves to fit in any kind of box that we think we're supposed to fit into. And so part of that inner safety and like being safe with ourselves is if you're devastated, be devastated. It's not sexy, it's not fun, but it's real. How does that land before we move on? What does that feel like?
yes, spot on.
Yeah.
Spot every word, spot freaking on.
Yeah. Give us another one in the chat if that felt good for you too. Again, I think there's a lot of us in this conversation with me and Wanda, and I'm glad that resonated because the repression of culture, and again, there's people from all over the world tuning into these conversations, like the repression of culture, no matter where you grew up, it's real. We
Mhm.
got taught that your big emotions are unacceptable. And so we learned how to deny ourselves. And becoming safe simply means letting whatever is real be present, being present with whatever we're feeling, whatever we're thinking, whatever the inner critic is saying and won't leave us alone with, like letting it exist is part of creating that safe container within ourselves. So the good news, the good news is that every tear you cry is a release. So I know sometimes it can feel like you're sitting there like crying, crying, crying. Like I had a 6 week period one time where like I was lucky to be working from home because every 5 minutes I've got another wave of like I can't stop crying. And that was really the beginning, like a little over 2 years ago, of me becoming a safe place for myself. And that was kind of the tip of the flood of like how much was really in there that needed to come out. And so every tear, though, is a shedding of like that doesn't live in your body anymore. It feels like it's just never ending, but every tear is a melting of every bit of that that's been piling up inside of you. So I like to really know that while I'm in the like can't get my shit together, like that's okay because I'm still doing something productive. Not necessarily even just for myself, but for the collective consciousness, letting the air out of the pain balloon on behalf of the collective soul. Crying your tears is a service to everyone, right? The more we repress, the more we are encouraging other people to repress. The more we're safe with ourselves, the more we're inviting other people to be safe in their real self. How does that feel?
it makes a lot of sense. Definitely, and it helps a lot because I've also been struggling with the feeling of, gosh, I thought I had moved 2 steps forward, and then it feels like you're going 15 steps backwards.
Oh my gosh, I know.
And like I said, this has been, oh gosh. I think I didn't realize I was doing that even more. Because in the last, oh, I would say since last probably October, November, I have pretty much been a hermit. The only time I go out um side is to go to the, you know, go to the store.
Hmm.
And that's it. It's like the universe kind of was like, because at first I kind of distracted myself with gardening, and the universe was like, nope, all motivation and all that. Sit, go sit your behind down somewhere. You know,
Yeah,
practice as one lady says, you know, practice the fine art of go sit your a down somewhere. And
love it.
that's pretty much what I've done. And that's when a lot of this stuff really started, you know, stuff that I hadn't even thought about. And it's
Yeah.
like, and then there go the tears again.
Yeah. I got chills when you said that of like stuff I haven't even thought about in like
Mhm,
15 years, 20 years, 30 years. Like, I
mhm.
mean, I was having like memories from my 2-year-old self come out and like, I can't believe that happened to me. I'm so sorry. I mean, just to grieve with yourself. I mean, it is such a big process. And again, it's not, one of those things that society is going to give you a gold medal and tell you like a promotion, like, hey, you're doing great. But that's what this space is for. It's for getting real about the process of healing and
Yeah,
knowing that that's what happens when we finally find safety. Order of business number one is that the emotions get to come up and out. They get to
yeah,
flow in whatever way is real. So that to me is a really good sign as far as like you being safe with yourself. And the other piece I want to add on to that, as far as what you said of like trying to distract ourselves with different things, which again, how many of you can relate to that? Like probably everyone. Um, Even one of mine is like overworking. Like I think like, oh, I'm being so productive. Like, look at me, I'm
mhm,
doing this and I got this done and I got this done. But all I'm really doing is drowning out the things that I'm feeling. I'm
mhm,
avoiding the feelings that I could be having, but I'm choosing not to feel them. And in that, there's like not a conscious self rejection, but a subconscious self rejection of like,
mhm,
you're not allowed to feel that. And so, yes, when you will get still, when you will let go of the distraction, even for, I'm going to go 10 minutes or I'm going to go the rest of the afternoon without, whatever it is that I would normally distract myself with, what comes up is often a lot bigger than we think it is because in our mind, it's so easy to detach from what's
yeah,
going on in our body. And when we'll sink down into our body, our soft animal body, that's where we keep all of our old hurts that haven't been felt yet. And there's really no getting around that. But again, I think the good news is that being in that expression of emotion, you're moving through it even if it doesn't necessarily feel like that. Like you're crying the tears and they're coming out so they no longer live in your body. The last little piece that I want to talk about is what you mentioned about like struggling with belonging. And especially if you're being isolated by your higher self into your hermit place, like back into your cave. I've definitely gone through long stretches of that myself as well. Personally, what I've found is that when we isolate ourselves, it's our higher self's way of figuring out how to belong to ourselves,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
Yes, yes, yes. I see lots of agreement on that one. Is that, we want so badly to belong. And again, that's so relatable. I think one of the common human longings is for belonging. We're social animals. We're meant to find our tribe and be a part of a group. And it feels really juicy and yummy to get to do that. But as long as we don't belong to us, as long as we are in a mode of rejecting ourselves, every person that we ever come across is going to mirror that back to us. We don't manifest what we want, we manifest what we are. And if we are one who will reject self, that's who we find in the world. So belonging is really an inside job. And the more we can belong to us, the more we will find these spaces and places of people who will celebrate us, like becoming even bigger and bigger and bigger in our authenticity. How does that feel?
You confirmed something that that's been on my mind for a long time. And that's kind of the conclusion I came to, but then I was like, I'm not sure.
Well, that's
But
my
yeah,
opinion.
thank
That's what feels true to me.
you.
So I'm glad that it was a synchronicity for you as well. I saw lots of people have a reaction to that too. So again, thank you, Wanda. That went by so fast of getting to chat with you. I'm really grateful that you were willing to step forward and have this conversation. I think a lot of us got a lot out of it. So thank
Thank
you for that.
I,
Mm. I'm sorry. I accidentally muted you. Unmute yourself and tell us that last little bit. There we go.
oh no, I was just going to say I think that's part of something that I'm trying to learn with this, Sun in Aries conjunct Mars in Aries, because people say, oh, that, you're the type to go forward all the time. I'm like, who the hell are you talking about? That's not me.
Right.
So that's kind of why I said, I'm going to, as much as I didn't want to, I said, I'm going to go first.
Oh, way to go first. Like I see so many people like lit up by the conversation, applauding your going firstness. And I appreciate you for stepping forward and being willing to show up in that space because when we will be vulnerable, when we will admit, like, what is it that's real inside of us, again, we automatically give permission to other people to do the same. So everything that you said here was medicine for this group, and I thank you for it.
Thank y'all.
Mm. Oh, you guys, I can't believe it's almost over. Um, so we have about 10 minutes here, and I am going to take a deep breath. We're gonna kind of close out this session. Let the medicine of community and the togetherness and the realizing that you're not alone in these big feelings and struggling with safety and longing for belonging, like this is part of the human condition. And when we open up and allow ourselves to feel the realness of what it is that's living inside of us, we're giving permission to everyone that we ever come across, even when we don't say the words, right? Our energy, our aura communicates on our behalf. And that is such beautiful work that really anyone who is willing to do that work, I take my hat off to you. I thank you for the ripple effects that you are putting into the world just by simply crying your own tears. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. Thank you for that. And we will wrap up here today. I'm going to share with you about my Sacred Circle community, and then we're going to do giveaways for day one winners. So stick around. We're almost done, and we'll be done probably right at 11 o'clock. So 11 o'clock my time, about 9 more minutes. First, the Sacred Circle. So this is something that I host every Saturday and it happens at 10 a.m. Central Time. So it would be the same time that we started here today. And it's a space that's a lot more interactive than what we've done today, a lot more like the hot seat that Wanda and I just had, where what's real for you right now, what's coming up for you right now. We do dance parties, we do little guided meditations to tune into ourselves and the inner wisdom that's there. And as a bonus for everyone who signed up for the retreat, I am inviting you all to come to next Saturday for free. So, sample, try before you buy kind of style. If you come and it's not right for you, that's no problem. If you already know it's not right for you, no problem. That's just a space where we continue to plug into this work. We continue to come together in community with other people who are wanting to tune more into their own true nature, into their own real life process, right? It's not always glamorous. It's not always gold medal worthy, but it's always real. So in that space, we value vulnerability. We value raw, real authenticity, honesty, which means you can show up in whatever energy you got going on that day. Feel like shit? Cool. Feel great? Cool. Celebrating a win? Awesome. Got knocked down again? Awesome. Come and be with us, right? Because it's all so interconnected. Just like we saw when Wanda and I went back and forth, like there's so much relatability in being honest about what's really going on with you. And we do tie it into astrology a little bit just to kind of give us some context and direction to the session. But ultimately, we're really there to mostly work into alignment with our authenticity. So that's something that happens every Saturday. It's $45 a month to continue on if you want to be a part of it every Saturday. But like I said, everybody is welcome next Saturday. And let me confirm the date of that. I think it's March 23rd. So that one is for the Libra full moon lunar eclipse that is happening. So we're just getting into eclipse season. This next full moon and then the new Aries new moon after that are both eclipses. So the next few weeks of sacred circles will hold us in what is probably going to be a little bit of intense energy. So if that's something that you're interested in, by all means, I would love to have you there. And even if you only take me up on the next Saturday offer, again, would love to have you there. And without further ado, okay, now we're going to give away some stuff, starting with 1 month free of Sacred Circle. So somebody here right now is going to walk away with 4 free Sacred Circles. And that lucky winner is Deborah Schmidt. Deborah! Ah, look at her. She's so happy. Right? Oh my gosh. Yes, yes, yes. Uh, obviously meant to be. Clearly meant to be. You're meant to be there for 4 times in a row. And everyone, I would love to see you there next Saturday. There's one more winner. And that is someone who's going to win one of my ebooks. So I have 4 ebooks for sale on my Etsy shop. And this person is going to get to choose which of the 4 ebooks they would most like to have. And I shall send it over to you. And that winner is, drumroll please, Laura Sums. You get to pick out an ebook and I shall send it to you. We will be doing these giveaways every one of the 5 days. You have to be in attendance to be the winner. That's all you got to do. For those of you watching the replay, if you haven't signed up yet, you want to join us, by all means, go ahead and register. You can still hop in here and be a part of the magic that's happening in this space. But that is what I had planned for you today. So tomorrow we will be back again at 10 a.m. Central Time. If you would like to join us again, I would love to have you. If you can't make it, no worries at all. I'm going to send the replay of today's session out later today, so you can watch the replay if you'd like. And catch the replays for any days that you may not be able to be here. So again, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me. I had a freaking blast. Had to like get myself together in all my excitement. But this was magical. This was even better than I could have hoped. And thank you again, Wanda, for being the one willing to come forward. We'll do another hot seat tomorrow if anybody wants to step up into that spot. And I hope you have a magical rest of your day. Thank you so much. Sending you love. Love you all. Take good care, and I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.